pretty successful year at WCG. PJ doing very, very well against even the S-class pro gamers from South Korea. Cole getting 4th place. Another TSL startup, as you see. A lot of really good leagues going on, a lot of good coverage. It's been a very good year for the foreigner scene overall. Alright, hey at Artosis. I love Taran, but since I am a beginner, I have to resort to PvP instead of TvP because I can't keep up speed APM-wise. Any tips? You know, I don't know that there is any except get a little bit faster. If you play a defensive style of TvP, you don't need quite as much speed as you do in a more aggressive style. You can kind of just sit there, siege up, and concentrate on macros. So you might want to try that style out. It's a really strong and powerful style anyways. A good one to learn. Let's see here. Yeah, Artosis, does Gosi Taran have potential to win Courage? How much time in case he does? Actually, anyone has potential to win Courage. As long as you train hard and practice hard, that is what it takes. So anyone willing to put that in has a lot of potential, because that's what Korea is all about. It's about hard work and dedication. So if you're willing to really, really, really dedicate yourself, you can absolutely make it. So, you know, that is one of the big reasons why I do push this guy so hard, because he is training as hard as any Korean over here. So, you know, that goes for anyone with that sort of dedication. They have the potential to take down Courage. How long does it take? It matters, man. You know, it's a single elimination bracket through Courage. Sometimes you hit players that have been practicing with pro gamers for a long time, and then it can get really ridiculously hard. So it's a little bit luck-based, and a little bit skill-based, and a little bit talent-based. Who knows exactly how long? We've only had one foreigner ever win Courage, and that was like 5 years ago. So, you know, not a good example there. Yeah, Artosis, would you share with us your top 10 Canadian player rankings of all time? Thank you. Well, I'm not going to try off the top of my head for the top 10 Canadian rankings. Obviously, you're going to have players like Gur and Smuffed in there. JF, the best Canadian of all time, bar none. Zowsy, right up there. You have to mention Testy, unfortunately. There's some other really great players up there as well, such as Pride. You know, then there's some lower level ones that get remembered a lot, such as, you know, Loudon and Bullock and stuff like that. They're remembered as better than they were, but still good players for sure. And one person I'm not going to mention is Faith, because he was absolutely horrible. Alright, let's see here. Do you think SC Brood War Courage licenses will still be valid for SC2? Especially for those who are not in the pro teams. Actually, I do know the answer to this. It's not a think question at all. In Korea, if you have your pro license, it works for any game. You're established as a pro gamer in Korea. So it can actually, like, if you're a StarCraft pro, you can use your license and go over and play Kart Rider even. I mean, I don't know why they do it like that, but they do. At Artosis, what is the deal with that guy from SS501 joining a Pro League team? Is he legit or just a mascot? Well, first off, let me say that there are dubs being made of this show. You can check them out on TeamLiquid.net. No, he's not exactly a mascot, but it is definitely just for press, just for ratings. You know, he's actually reasonably good at StarCraft for some random boy band member. But no, he's not ever going to be really good. He's never going to be a pro gamer. It's kind of like a joke show. You see, he doesn't take anything totally seriously, jokes around a lot in the show, stuff like that. And make sure you look at episode number 2, by the way, because Rhett and myself are both in it. Cool little thing to see. Let's see here. Hey, Artosis, if you were explaining SC to someone, how would you describe each race with just one word apiece? Well, that's hard. Zerg, I guess I would call fast. Taran, I guess I would call defensive. And Protoss, I don't know, aliens? Hey, Artosis, I'm a Warcraft 3 player looking to play StarCraft. What race in StarCraft would be easiest to learn for an Orc player? That is without a doubt Protoss. They actually have a lot of similarities with each other. They both have an invisible unit that does a ton of damage. Well, see, that's a little joke there. Both of them basically have the really heavy-duty, high hit point units. They both kind of play similarly as well. So, you know, that's really, if you're an Orc player, I think it transitions into Protoss the best by far. I think most people who played both games will agree with me on that one. Hey, Artosis, how to build workers' army in the end game. Because when you're maxed out, basically it's a two-part question here. How do you move around the army and still produce workers and whatnot? Normally you use F2, F3, F4 for your command centers. In the endgame when you're maxed out, you're not really making workers anymore though. If you get to the maxed out situation, you should have more than enough workers and you want to stop it. You don't want to get too many workers. That's not good for you because then your army's just going to get crushed. You're not going to be able to get a big enough army to take on your opponent. As for attack moving around your army, it matters what race you're. If you're Zerg, you don't have enough hotkeys, so you just have to be really quick dragging boxes and sending. If you're Taran, then you can basically fit a maxed army on your hotkeys, unless you're going pure Marine Medic, and then you're going to go up to like 9 control groups of Marine Medic, and that's just hard to do. You just gotta really keep on top of irradiates, then send everything when the defilers are out of the picture. Other than that, you're using mech, and then you pretty much have enough hotkeys. Same with Protoss, their units for, versus Taran versus Protoss, both are 2 supply apiece, so you do have enough hotkeys for them. You just have to practice, going way up the keyboard with your attack move sequence, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A. Alright, let's see here. Any more good ones? Hey, Artosis, as Taran, I have trouble figuring out what Protoss is up to early game and usually prepare for DT drop by default. Any tips? Well, preparing for DT drop by default will defend you against everything, but basically you just have to really play a lot of games and just kind of figure out, after a while it'll kind of click in your head when you see this and this and that. You narrow it down to the set of builds he could be doing, and then you find something that is a common counter to those. For instance, if he is blocking a Zealot on his ramp by the time you get there when you scout normally, oftentimes this means that he is teching right up to high tech, whether it is robotics or it is DT. It'll be either Reaver or DT most of the time. Turret counters both. Stuff like that. So it just basically takes a lot of games, and turrets are your friend. If you don't know what's going on, turrets in siege mode normally can hold anything Protoss sends at you. Hey, Artosis, why do you think Leda is bad? Okay, I don't actually think he's bad. What I hate is when I see people comparing him to Flash, Fantasy, etc. Because he is absolutely not that level, does not deserve to be recognized at that level. Yes, he gets a lot of Pro League wins. That's true. So do those other players. That's true. That's where the similarities end, aside from them all playing Taran. Leda is not championship quality. When he plays an S-class player, yeah, he might take a game. In fact, he might take a series every now and then. But over time, his style that he's shown us overall throughout his career is not one that wins championships. It's not one that truly inspires you to practice all day and all night. It's more of a gimmicky, tricky style. Yes, he's backed up on that a little bit. He's playing a more solid style now, yes indeed. But still, he is not at the level of those other players. I do not hate him. He's actually quite fun to watch at times because of his strange style. He's just not the same level as some of these other super Terrans. And so a lot of times I give him a little bit of trash talk because of that. Alright. Artosis. Oh, I'm going to go into that one later. I'll save that one. Alright. Artosis, how's the situation with amateur tournaments in the foreigner scene? Well, I'm not sure exactly what you mean with that. Sorry. Maybe you want to re-ask in a different way. I don't know if you mean TSL by that, or maybe smaller tournaments. There are a lot of really small tournaments that go on for lower level players. Normally the big players in the foreigner scene, the pro gamers, so to say, like White Rod, JF, Hydra, etc., only go to money tournaments. So I don't know if you consider those amateur tournaments or not, but we've had a lot more recently than ever before due to StarCraft 2 coming out. Everyone wants to get their feet wet doing something in StarCraft 1. So the state of it is pretty good, actually. Artosis, how do you prepare for the beta? And what do you think is the correct way to approach the beta? Example, the first week beta is out. If you are just some guy who wants to be good at this new game, StarCraft 2, when it comes out, I suggest you just play all the races, play random a lot, and just practice with all the races. That'll give you a better overall understanding of the game. And then as the game gets more figured out, you can build upon whichever race you like the most, because you'll kind of have an overall understanding of all of them, and that's going to help you in every matchup, just to know what's possible from every side. Another way to prepare for the beta, watch the battle reports again. Just try to figure out what the units are and what they do.